Hey everybody, this is Arthur Shopper, the Field Director for MassResistance, the international pro-family group that makes the difference. We are winding down another so-called Pride Month this June 2026. And it is great news, again, to see how many local and state governments took a stand and said, we're not going to recognize June as anything but nuclear family, or natural family, or Men's Mental Health Month, or commemorating something else. There is a growing pushback against the normalization and the imposition of pride being pushed in our faces. There is a growing awareness, what MassResistance had warned people about for decades, that the normalization of homosexuality, it leads to the tyranny of homosexuality, and all of it has to be rejected. Now, I was listening to an argument briefly that was put forward by former Congressman and Chief of Staff and Mayor Rahm Emanuel. And he was arguing how Democrats have lost their way because they were focusing on all these divisive culture wars rather than focusing on results in education, in public safety, and so on. And the person interviewing him pushed back and said, well, can't you have both? And then he responded, well, we've tried that and they failed. Schools that were so radical in demanding men be allowed in women's sports and spaces and even take over their very selves. The promotion and proliferation of LGBT themes in schools have made it very clear that schools cannot both educate and indoctrinate. That's obvious. And I want to draw on that principle and point out a larger reality. You can't normalize and tolerate the public promotion and proliferation of LGBT anything and expect the rest of us will be able to live our lives. Live and let live doesn't work. We have to restore a fundamental opposition to and sanction of homosexuality and transgenderism. These are destructive ideas, behaviors, disorderly conduct, which should not be allowed in a society based on ordered liberty. You can't have both. We have to re-deviantize these destructive behaviors. There's no getting away from it. That is a tough message for many conservatives. They believe, can't we just get back to live and let live? But that's not what true conservative thought is. There is a public order, there is a moral order, there is natural law, there is natural right. And you cannot ignore or subside or marginalize those necessary verities in order to have a healthy and flourishing society. Homosexual, transgender conduct, ideology, it's all harmful and it cannot be promoted. It has to be rejected. Instead of Pride Month, we need Reality Month. And instead of acquiescing and accommodating, we have to stand for truth. If you want to stand for truth, if you want to fight the good fight, if you want to make this a reality where we re-deviantize perversion and restore public life, order, and natural law, then join MassResistance. Visit our website, www.massresistance.org. Sign up with us, reach out to us. We will get in touch with you right away.